Point that you turn to your argument concerning the concept of confused instincts. So let's take it piece by piece. First, you assert that lesbian lizards engaging in homosexual behavior do so as a survival tactic. Therefore, it is not homosexual behavior. This is denialism. Straight up denialism. One of the most insidious logical fallacies someone can make. You claim that 1 does not equal 1, and you defend this fallacy saying that 1 does not equal 1 because 1 has a benefit under circumstance A. Your assertion that homosexual behavior is not homosexual behavior because there is an evolutionary benefit for homosexuality for the animals that practice it is... I have no words to explain how insipid this is. Any logical person would clearly understand that homosexual behavior, which has an evolutionary benefit, should be proof that there is indeed homosexual behavior. But you take the opposite stance. You say that an evolutionary benefit for homosexual behavior is evidence against homosexual behavior. It just plain and simple doesn't make sense. You are a homosexual behavior denialist of the worst level. Continuing on, you admit that a woman with a low estrogen level can be tomboyish, and a male with a low testosterone level can be effeminate. Yet you claim that your denialist argument debunks the existence of homosexual behavior, even when you admit that hormone levels have an effect on a person's behavior. And who is to say that lower estrogen levels or lower testosterone levels won't lead to all-out homosexual orientation? One of the examples you cite is female dogs who, through their strong sexual urges, will mount a female to try and get some sexual gratification when they haven't mated with males for a long time. Now, my question for you is, at what point does a female dog's sexual instincts ever cause her to mount another female as a male would? The female's instincts is to be mounted, and if she is completely heterosexual, and if homosexuality in animals does not exist, then should not her raging sexual urges and her hormones cause her to try and insert herself under the other female rather than mount her as a male would? This is why I don't think your argument of confused instincts holds much weight. It just doesn't make sense. Even when you analyze animal behavior, your assessment does not make sense. And as in the broader case, it is just straight up denialism. I can't repeat enough how you claim that homosexual behavior is not homosexual behavior because it has an evolutionary benefit, or because humans observe homosexual behavior, that it is somehow not homosexual behavior because we cannot know the minds of these animals, or it is not homosexual behavior because humans observed it, therefore it's wrong, and yet you make your own observations and assume they are right, and therefore you are a hypocrite. Your argument is insipid from beginning to end, with logical fallacies sprinkled throughout. In coming closer to your conclusion, you now try to make the point that you argue, even if homosexuality was in animals, first, humans should not practice it, a judgment from your own bigoted subjective morality, and secondly, that it's still biologically unnatural, a use of the term natural that is unrelated to your own definition, never mind that it's just an empty assertion. And thirdly, that homosexuality is wrong because it's a genetic mutation, like a missing arm or being a hermaphrodite. This last point exposes your lack of knowledge and understanding of the study of biology or genetics, and shows that you are completely ignorant of the mechanisms behind evolution. Allow me to inform you that your dark skin is a genetic mutation. My light skin is a genetic mutation. My blue eyes are a genetic mutation. Both of our abilities to walk upright on our hind legs is a genetic mutation. Everything in your genome is a genetic mutation, whether it is unique to you or inherited from your ancestors. This is how evolution begins, where the changes come from, and from these changes, natural selection decides which are beneficial, which are neutral, and which are unbeneficial. The unbeneficial ones usually die out. The neutral ones may or may not die out, and the beneficial ones aid in reproduction and in the survival of the species. And if you had the slightest understanding or knowledge of the study of biology or genetics, you would already know all this, but it's apparent that you don't. Finally, you can't believe that you had to waste your precious little time making this video. Who are you to claim to be the ultimate authority on these subjects? Where is your PhD in biology? Where is your PhD in genetics? Where is the overwhelming support from the scientific community which would excuse such an arrogant statement? Where are the sources you can cite which actually agree with you? I remind you that it is you who came to YouTube spouting hate against others, and it is we, so-called unstable creatures, who are worthless and unworthy of your response, who have responded to your baseless assertions. Finally, as Thunderfoot gave the name poster boy for creationist stupidity to Venomfang X, so too will I now give you the name Hubris 316 to reflect your arrogant demeanor, sinful pride of your false source work, and your unchecked tendency to pose as an authority on subjects for which you have little or no qualifications, let alone understanding. One last question. Do you like apples? Well, how do you like them apples?